Welcome to a Live on One. This is not a rehearsed opening, as Stephen Bork would think it is. I'm actually here with Stephen Bork tonight as a co-host. How you doing, Stephen?
Oh, thank God I pressed that intro button. I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm good.
And we got Jian here too.
We do.
Hey,
We
folks.
Jim here.
Hey. So I guess because so normally on these things, Stephen Maddox is a lot of the person who keeps the structure, and other people come on and we just talk. So with the lack of Stephen being here, I will try my best to step in, but sometimes that goes awry. So
You have at least half his name.
that's true, and I am the first, just like the first mutant or whatever Apocalypse is called.
I'm pretty sure firstborns are supposed to be more responsible. So,
well, that's not true in our case. So, so we just got back from Everwinter. We'll be doing an episode, a longer kind of special on that. So we won't talk about that too much or at all tonight. So for kind of a treat post Everwinter, because you're probably sick of listening to meta stuff, and seeing it maybe on the table if you were there. We're going to go over sort of just like our Sentinels episode, more of a fun kind of this faction maybe isn't ideal right now. How do we make a list to kind of play into their strengths and put it on the table? Jian actually did put it on the table, so props to him. So, but before we get into all that, let's start off with, we've all played a lot of games recently because we were at a tournament. So characters, any notable standouts of characters who are left living on 1 HP or alive on 1, if you will. Anyone want to go first? If you can remember.
I can't. I just played 5 games. So I don't really remember. I'm sure there was 1 or 2, but I don't remember. Like, it wasn't pivotal enough for me to remember.
Jian, anything that you can remember?
Well, recently with some of the testing for today's topic list, I did put Baron Mordo on the table again. And we did have a D map that he was responsible for one flank, which people abandoned, which was great. But then he eventually caught up. Then he got his butt whooped several times, but he was left alive on 1. And I will tell you that what he did contribute was 1 damage to a model with some conditions. And then he sat there and said, "Your turn." That's it.
The lamest alive on 1 ever.
No, but I think Baron Mordo did contribute quite a bit to the game, just that his alive on 1 turn wasn't as spectacular as other characters, let's say.
Yeah. I'm also finding, too, with the card survival and like the damage output in current lists, a lot of characters are just alive on dead, and then you survival them, which is kind of your alive on 1 moment now. So where you're like, oh, cool play. They're not going to die until I activate. So, but I know there was a game recently that I left several members of an entire team alive on 1, and I lost because of it. I can't remember who it was against, but if you remember and you were my opponent, send me an email because of my bad experience. That won't trigger me at all, but I don't remember. There was like Avengers, or maybe it was X-Men or something. It was one of the mission play teams, and just every single one of them was like alive on 1, and so they just ran off with the scoring. So it was kind of impactful, unfortunately. But or it was Apocalypse. I don't remember anymore.
Well, this sounds like you want Elsa Bloodstone in your future soon with that leadership. That seems pretty dope.
I'm not playing Midnight Suns. I refuse. No, I refuse. Also Guardians. I've already locked my list for the next at least 6 months now, so that's a different story. But that's mostly because I'm in like less than a week I will have no time again. So I have 2 lists, and I'm just gonna play those to death when I can. So, but anyways, so hobby catch up. Nick, you do anything recently?
The last couple days I've started painting a Orc Blood Bowl team, because that's the next thing I'm involved in, is a Blood Bowl league.
Oh, cool. Orcs are fun. They're great to paint too.
They're pretty fun, and I'm doing like a blue armored orc, so that's kind of fun.
Blarmored, if you will.
Blarmored, yes.
Nice. Jen, you painting anything? Well, maybe that's a sore topic.
For circumstances beyond my control, I will need to replace my entire Web Warriors team very soon.
Oh, no.
Yeah, unfortunately. So they're simply lost to the Bostonian Abyss at this point. So I will be slowly rebuilding and repainting Web Warriors again. So maybe they'll have a better paint job.
Did they jump off a bridge like Daredevil kept trying to do for Bork?
Oh yeah, my Daredevil kept trying to jump off a bridge into the Boston River.
Well, that's just true to his nature, honestly.
Well, yeah. Well, that's a bummer, Jin. We're sorry to hear that. If anyone sees Jin's bag of Web Warriors and other things, and you're listening to this podcast or you accidentally grabbed it, please do send us an email. Just another way, just in case, you know.
Yeah. It's a red Gamer Plus bag that he holds a bunch of foam. Like it's like I don't know, like 18 inches tall. Basically, it's hard to miss.
Yeah.
But chances are, though, it's probably gone, and I have to just realize that I will have to do a new paint job for my shield list and for Web Warriors.
Well, this is an opportunity to get maybe some different paint jobs on them. I don't know. That's a bummer, but
I will say, at least it's not 2,000 points of 40k.
That's true. Yeah.
Ugh.
But at the same time, hey, it's an exciting time to play against me in tournaments because I cannot run Web Warriors against you right now.
Catch Jin soon at. Awesome. So, hobby. I mean, I did stuff I painted a bunch of. What did I do? I played Defenders. Man, it seems so long ago. I painted a couple. I think I finished Namor on Friday, as well as a couple others that I'm blanking on. I don't know. Hulk was finished up. I didn't really like the way he came out, but he was done. And then Namor, and then one other guy. But today I was painting up Ben Reilly because I too am making a webs list. So, but I found out today, which is pretty cool, is over the summer when we went down to RSMP, Nick, Steven, and I spent a lot of time painting up a ton of webs. So I actually have most of my roster painted, which feels nice. That's always cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it's always cool when you don't have work to do on something.
I will say, because I'm also switching back to Guardians, I'll only have to paint 2 models because my Guardians list is actually painted except for the 2 new models.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nick, are you more excited for Yondu or for Nova?
Probably Nova, honestly.
I
like Yondu looks like a lot of fun, but I think Nova is just going to be a blast, pushing people around, and that beam is going to be fun when you get it to go off. So
definitely,
yeah. He's also Nova's model. I mean, I don't really like painting blue personally, so like his model just seems much more fun to paint. Nova, it's a little bit more galactic-y. I don't know. It's pretty cool.
It's got bling. Be a fun one. You always like the bling on the cosmic models.
Bling. Okay, so that's kind of hobby stuff. Oh, I have to paint my Guardians too as well. So weirdly enough, when I think I mentioned this already actually. But when I first started playing, long story short, I had a friend who played Guardians, so I didn't pick them up till a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Like I didn't own Groot or Rocket. I didn't even own Nebula or Gamora. So I'm kind of starting from scratch there. I even pulled out Thanos and Agent Venom so I can do them all kind of as a cohesive team with like bright neon colors. So I think it'll be fun. But yeah, bright neon. You can't miss them. And I'm gonna put Thor 2 in that same scheme as well because it's Thor Guardians, kind of like in the movie. So, but Thor 2 aside, we got some upcoming event announcements. So our second TTS tournament has about 1 round left. And the third one will be about a week or 2 after that. So that's coming up soon. We'll announce that later. So far, so good. I think people are getting their games in. A lot of people weren't able to make some games in this current one because of the holidays, which is totally fine. And we like to stress in those tournaments too that like if you can't make a game, just like take the loss or take a tie. It's all good by me. Sometimes life just doesn't work out. So then also, Jian, are you TOing or playing or both in these?
So for the Connecticut tournaments, there's going to be I'm shooting for one in January. So tentatively, there's a date of the last Saturday, the January 1st to 25th at Haven Games and Hobbies. So I'm going to talk to the store owner and just try to get that, make sure that's all squared away and set up. Should be fun. Be our little last hurrah before the new boxes come out. Then the month after, on February the 22nd, at the Battle Center in East Windsor, there should be a tournament as well. That one I'll be actually participating in. Since,
Okay.
That's going to be mostly store run. I'm just going to help there to make judge calls for that one.
Is that on a Sunday?
No, it should be all Saturdays. So
okay.
The 25th of January should be a Saturday, and the 22nd of February should be the Saturday as well. So they're both scheduled essentially like the last Saturdays of each month. So that's what we're kind of going for.
Oh, cool. That's good. Because I know you had one on a Sunday, and I was like, I would love to go, but Sundays don't work.
Yeah, for sure. The One Haven Hobbies as well. We got some new mounts from Decut Studios. We're hope to get some more variety out there in that place. We should have at least 12 mats. So we can come up with 24 players at once now, which is pretty cool. So
nice. That's great. And we'll put a link below on those once Jian gets that to me.
Yep.
And for the Longshanks, and so Crossroads as well, and up in Maine, kind of our local tournament. Oh, there is also a cool thing before we get to Crossroads first. February 8th, we're doing our kind of local Crossroads Maine tournament. If you're from Midgard, I know a lot of you drive up for that. If you want to drive up for that, you can reach out and we can give you some hotel recommendations. It is just a 1-day, 3-round RTT, so I can understand if you don't want to drive up for that. So, but we're doing that February 8th. Midgard, I have to check with Brian, but they're doing a cool thing. I believe it's in January. Brian's running this thing that has you basically bring a roster, no symbiotes or existing symbiotes, so no Venom, no Gwenom, no Carnage, and you bring a roster, and he's going to shuffle up I forget what box it's from, but it's all the symbiote cards which have special abilities.
Oh, it's the separation anxiety box, right? The multiplayer one?
Yep, that's the one. And he's going to shuffle those up, and so you bring your roster. You get to attach your symbiotes in each game, kind of like Apocalypse attaches his horsemen. And fair warning, a lot of these abilities are super broken, so there'll be some cool stuff going on there. With different rosters getting a huge boost. You don't know what you're going to get, though, so you can't plan on anything. So just kind of bring something fun to run, thematic maybe, and then you get to make them into symbiotes. So that's a really cool thing coming up, I believe, in January. And then finally, there is the Cancer event that we are hosting at Midgard, with Brian. Brian will be playing, I'll be TOing, and that'll be on March 15th. Nick, have you picked a charity for that yet?
I'm debating between a couple right now.
Okay, well, make that debate quick so we can let Brian know, and then we can also let everyone else know where their money's going. We'll have some T-shirts that we're going to order at the end of the month. Maybe Brian can make up some dice because I know he does that, so we can reach out to him for that as well. That could be cool. And then, so all of the proceeds there will go to whatever. So a lot of cool stuff coming up, a lot of smaller stuff. There's no big tournament, at least in our area, on the horizon till May or June. And whenever Becky is, but Becky's an invitational, so not everyone can go. So the next big tournament will be Iron Worlds. It's a team tournament, tons of fun. So it's in Massachusetts, usually around Boston. It was last year. So if you're kind of local or even thinking about some kind of team, you can come single as well, and they can give you a team too. So it's a great tournament. So keep that in mind for the spring because it's a lot of fun too. So, all right. Cool. So now diving into the meat of what we're doing tonight, we are talking Weapon X. So, and Nick, we usually rely on you a little bit more for this. Who are they?
I don't know. It's
God
Wolverine.
damn it.
Like, I don't actually read a lot of Weapon X stuff. So.
Okay. Well, I do know the general premise around them.
Yeah.
They are mutants that were experimented on primarily with adamantium by Stryker, whatever his first name is. And I know there's a whole Weapon X program where they're trying to create the perfect controllable weapon, which is where Weapon X comes in, because they put all this shit on him and they're like, we can finally control him. Then he breaks down. He's like, I'm too jacked. His shirt flies off, that kind of moment, like in Deadpool. That's a great moment, by the way. But anyway, so yeah, they're kind of a special program. It's a bummer we don't have some of the more, like Lady Deathstrike isn't a model yet, which would be really cool. But basically, they're just kind of a government weapon program to take mutants, give them swords in their arms, and then try to keep them under control. So
we only have one plan, and that is to put swords in people's arms and send them out to do work.
And unfortunately, they got a couple people who talk too much, like Deadpool. I don't know too much about Maverick in the comics, but X-23 is pretty prominent as well. But anyway, so yeah, my bad. That reminds me. Let's actually go through the characters you can play as. There's not a lot. It's just like New Mutants. It's a very small affiliation right now, and they haven't released anything for them in quite. Well, oh, never mind. Maverick and Weapon X just came out.
Yeah, actually, they did get a recent release that's actually pretty transformative, I think.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Well, you can talk about that. Weapon X is great. Okay, so we got Deadpool, Domino, Honey Badger, Logan the Wolverine, and Sabretooth Apex Predator. They come in that expensive box. Maverick and Weapon X, who just came out in, September, October? And then X-23.
Yep.
And so Logan can be your leader, X-23 can be your leader, and then is it Sabretooth as well?
Nope. So, funny enough, any James Logan Howlett can be the leader. So technically you can have regular Wolverine be the leader, yet he is not a Weapon X affiliated model.
Oh.
Interesting.
It's very wacky.
Interesting is one way to say it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yes, otherwise it's either you can do Logan the Wolverine, Weapon X, or X-23. Those are the current legal leaders that with the range that's available to us that's in faction.
Cool.
Slightly surprised Weapon X is a valid leader.
His name is James Logan?
Yeah, I'm just because I'm thinking of the time frame of when that model's set.
Isn't he in the 80s?
No, I mean like he's just coming out of like the bunker type idea, so he wouldn't really be.
Yeah, the 80s.
Yeah, don't worry. Is it that model based on like right when he's like waking up and completely forgot who he is and stuff?
Yeah.
That's why I'm surprised he can be a leader.
Okay. Well,
irrelevant. Moving on.
There's a lot of things we do in this podcast that are very irrelevant. So,
listen, a leader could also give you directions, or they can just dive right in and you just follow their lead.
Fair enough.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
And then the Wolverine, who's X-Men affiliate, just shows up. He's like, I know all y'all are like sad about getting injected with steel, but I'm here and I'm an X-Man. So you better listen. I don't know. Okay, so I do think that kind of covers who they are. We don't have to spend too much time on that. But one thing we should talk about actually is, kind of why they've been on. I don't want to say bad because I don't think any faction outside of I don't think any faction is truly bad if you can make them work, right? Maybe they're not going to win every tournament you ever go to, but maybe not bad, So why are they unideal, I guess, as an affiliation? And Jian, you can probably point this out better than both of us. So
sure, okay. So the games I put down with the Weapon X affiliation so far, I think one of the things I didn't realize at first was the fact that how many of the profiles are so similar as far as like the speed of the characters, right? So everyone's essentially a small base model with medium move. People can have like a place or like an extra advance or something here and there, but for the most part, like they kind of all move at the same speed initially when the game starts. So there isn't like a safe grab, let's say, in this affiliation. They all just generate one power, so no one's particularly great at pay to flips or anything like that. So they're actually a group of relatively honest models, right? At the end of the day, the only thing that really separates is that this team is prolifically, like, has a bunch of healing factor characters that if you can weather the storm, they can get some health back. But they're still only like, outside of Sabretooth, like they're only going to be 5 to 6 health models most of the time, though. On top of that, so they can be one shotted. But if they don't, that's when they feel like they have a lot of value town USA.
Yeah, that makes sense. And not being able to start the game off, I guess, with like a way to maintain pace with your opponents is like kind of a disadvantage.
Yeah, it always feels like you're going to have to start the game kind of behind in a way, right? And then you have to sort of catch up. This is also on top of the fact that the leadership itself is a bit tricky because it's a token-based leadership where the leader, which is either going to be a James Logan Howlett or a X-23, they're going to get memory tokens. They get some at the beginning of the game, and then they also get more as characters die, up to 3. You can expend the tokens to give anybody that's a Weapon X affiliated character 2 extra defense for the roll. And if they happen to take no damage, they get to move short towards the model that tried to attack them. Now, that's kind of cool, but, like defense dice can be a lie sometimes, and on top of that, usually Laura is my leader, but, everyone else might be different. But the character that has a leadership, if they daze or, they daze, like no one can get to spend the tokens, and that means the leadership is turned off. Unlike other people's leadership, where even if the leadership character is dazed, usually the leadership is still active, right? So that's another point of, kind of like weakness, I guess, like in the leadership design. On top of it, taking a tactics card slot as well, so you're already down a tactics card as well to even use his leadership in the first place. So,
but you have knives.
But you have knives. You have a lot of knives. You have more knives than a QVC like knife sale commercial. Like
more knives than a Swiss Army knife.
A lot of knives.
Yeah, that makes sense. They're also like medium move small base too. That does mean they're in general not going to, rotating around the board, which you have to sometimes do in certain missions, will be more challenging for them. With also maintaining kind of any level of attrition, which it seems like based on their cards they want to be doing. So I guess that's something there too. So we kind of went over the leadership. So we covered that, the memory tokens, tactics. So I have actually the list I wrote up is not actually particularly designed around doing damage too much, but the tactics, I wrote just do damage. I know it's more nuanced than that. Jian, you've played much more games with them too. So what do you think their kind of like playstyle / tactics are for success?
Well, there's a few like different people are still trying to figure out like what makes sense overall. But at the moment, I think the strength for them, especially for me coming from a wide web warriors background, is that rather than a wide scenario team, they seem to me function like a bunch of slightly efficient, 3 and 2 point damage dealing like pieces, right? So you can flood. Like I think at 15 threats, if you take enough 2 threats in the list, you could actually field like 6 models at 15 threat.
That's not bad.
That ain't bad at all.
It's like Avengers or Brian's crazy list.
Okay. That's another can of worms that I'm sure you should talk about at some point. But yeah, I think so. So one of the ideas I think that's getting some traction is the idea of a wide attrition list. And that's great because like there's more models. So as more models get dazed, that fuels the memory tokens being generated, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think as also because there's just so many like cards, between their healthy side and injured side to flip through, not a lot of teams actually have the amount of attrition needed, I think, to actually like, table the team completely,
Yeah. That makes sense. So you can still play the mission while dying.
Right, yeah. And the thing is, like, if they don't like focus fire a character down, like if you just, leave someone alive on one on a lot of these models, they will come
Link
back to
below.
nearly full health. Yep.
That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, we're in a moment right now until the new missions come out, I guess. And no, even with the new characters, we're kind of in a moment where like smaller or a little bit less wide attrition teams are really dominating the meta. So you're seeing like, Midnight Suns run a lot. I saw a lot of Red Skull with them, so they have the extra model on there. But you're looking at like what 4 through 5 maybe characters on the board for those teams. So
I mean, really start at 3, right? For the most part, like ideally, a lot of the attrition teams start at 3 models.
Yeah.
So they go, between 3 to 5. Mostly it's 3 or 4, depending on like
if they bring Red Skull.
Red Skull, if they bring a Thanos, etc. Dormammu, that's something we saw over the weekend. That's another thing we'll talk about in another cast. But that was also incredible to see as well for an attrition skew.
Absolutely. But because of that, I think that makes sense to like switch to, because then you can play the mission. You can still outscore them while also putting pressure and damage on, which is important, I think, in this meta as well. Because you need to be able to kill something, right? Like, unless you're playing webs, like the full, quote unquote non-killy faction, then you need a little bit of damage output.
Yeah, I still think that's a lie at the end of the day, Steven. Like, even at Web Warriors, like, they have to punch somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, and usually that's on their all webbed up turn primarily, but you still have to like do damage in this game.
Yeah.
So timing and tempo is very important. But so learning curve. Do you think because of that Weapon X is like a beginning? I put intermediate here personally. They might be intermediate to advanced, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean the individual characters themselves are like relatively straightforward. It's really the leadership, I think, that's going to be the highest learning curve of like, when do I want to spend the tokens, and like, how do I make sure that my leader is, kept kind of safe to be able to let them do their job, right, while also being able to provide that benefit.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you also have to play the mission with them more than other factions, right? Because you don't have like this big bowling ball of a model, you've got to make sure your positioning is really ideal for the mission too.
Yeah, I think so. But you do have a couple of like, well, I actually have multiple like really good attrition pieces like that are at 3 threat, but those characters are, they might be in a rough spot, right? Because you're probably never going to have priority with this team. That's the other thing too. You can kind of count on, at least in the way I'm currently running them.
That's true. Yeah, so you had 3 2s in your list. We'll get there, but I just looked down. I was like, oh,
they do look like a cheap team overall, though. Like, I'm just looking through it, and
they're mostly 3s,
3s and 4, a couple of 4s. Like,
yeah, if you bring Sabretooth or Logan,
yeah.
But I think you're bringing Weapon X these days. But that's another. We'll get into that. Also, like, just on a quick side tangent here, these are some of the coolest. Well, okay, I love like the Weapon X program in the comics too, and like any Wolverine comic. So these are some of the coolest characters that Marvel has to offer, in my opinion. So it's pretty cool.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
It's cool running around with feet talons, hand talons,
knives coming out of your arms,
Deadpool's katanas.
Yep, just lots of blades.
Yeah, Blade's not in here though, unfortunately.
No,
so.
maybe he's the key. You get a splash Blade in. I don't know.
You need more Blade. Bring Blade.
Audience members, I am shaking my head no, but you cannot visually see this right now.
Maybe Blade's the key to everything. So current, I guess, like, where do you think they kind of fit in the meta? Their impact in like current tier lists, like current, like, what sort of tier would you put them in? I guess.
Personally, I would put them because I think some people are starting to get success with the Y team. They're probably middle of the pack, let's say, at the moment.
That's where I was thinking too.
Mm-hmm.
I would rate them above New Mutants.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a little controversial.
They survive a little more than New Mutants do. So.
Yeah. New Mutants are, I don't even know. I don't know what they are. They don't have an identity quite yet. So, I have a wide New Mutants list, though, just on a side tangent that I have yet to try that I do want to give it for a spin and see how it does. That was kind of after Standoff, I made some adjustments to my list, and I was like, I'm just going to go wide as hell and see how it works out. So we'll see, but I'd be willing to bet they are better than New Mutants.
I think you know what
ahead.
it is, Steven? It's easier for me to wrap around the Weapon X plan more than it is to wrap around the New Mutants plan.
Well, that's because the New Mutants plan, there is no plan. It's just teleport.
Just teleport.
At least, I'm in a place where I've played enough games with them to say something like that and feel pretty honest doing it. Played over 25 or 30 games with them, and I was like, oh, so I'm just using this teleport mechanic to do nothing besides either trigger things on certain characters or make weird movement plays that only come up every once in a while. So.
Or you drag a character closer that then just also dies. You just feed the attrition.
I will really quick side tangent. I will say, because I know some of our listeners are trying to make New Mutants work, and props to you. I was there before. You get some tunnel vision with them, and I will say Black Bolt and Venom were probably my most successful splashes in that particular affiliation. So take it or leave it. But anyways, moving back to Weapon X. I feel like every episode now I have to shade on New Mutants though.
It's because you love them so much, Steven.
I do love them. Yeah, I do love them, and it is a bummer. I am going to continue to play them because you shouldn't give up on your kind of favorite comic book factions. But they might not be my primary list. Let's just put it that way. They're my fun list when I just want to teleport things.
Yeah. I don't. How would you? I mean, any other thoughts besides where you think they fit in the pantheon of affiliations for Weapon X at the moment?
Yeah. So I guess I have just a couple of thoughts too. The Guardians making kind of a comeback, who can also go wide and be attrition, might bring them down because they're also a shooting faction. From middle of the road to a little bit lower. That's just a maybe, a question mark on that. But because they're slow, and most of they don't have many charges, do they? It's all hit then move for most of them.
Yeah,
I think so.
I mean, Weapon X does have a charge, and and Sabretooth does have a pounce, so that's a pseudo charge in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's not bad.
Yeah, and Maverick's got hit and run, so it's there's a few characters that have the ability to attack and then move. That seems to be something. So it's they're not gonna necessarily get the charge off, but they start within close of an enemy, and then they can probably move away as they plink them.
Yeah. So the wide attrition team that's better than them, I guess, is the problem, right? Or slightly more mobile, or maybe punch a little bit harder at range 4. I would be worried about that, I guess.
Yeah, a gunline list would probably give him some headaches, or at least ask some questions of.
So shield, wide Guardians, and a couple others that I'm blanking on. But
yeah, because they're unlike so those teams will have a lot more dice consistency, right? Because you have either Tony or the leadership of the Namor bubbles or the winged tokens, right? You know, you have things that sort of help fix your dice a little more. Weapon X, their attacks, another thing that I guess we can go back to, their characteristics is that their dice are actually really honest, right? Because they don't have a ton of rerolls within faction. A couple characters have some innate rerolls, but otherwise you are rolling what you're rolling, right? And you kind of have to just kind of hope for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know when you design your list too, Jian, which we will get into soon, but I know when you design your list, you didn't splash as much as maybe you could have. I don't know if you even want to, but if you need a little bit more dice consistency, I think Zemo 1 would, he fits in every fucking list to be fair, but I do think he would help that problem a little bit.
Yeah. I wanted to build a list to sort of highlight the Weapon X characters rather than having the splashes get highlighted, you know?
Yeah, that's
Yep.
true. And that's what this is about. But also, these episodes are also Weekend Splash, technically. So next time, feel free to do whatever. But
So anyway, if you put Thor 2 in this list...
Yeah.
maybe not like that, but... Oh, no.
You just Thor 2 in every list. Boom.
Thor 2, and then we're going to add, coming soon, we'll just add Man-Thing. Anyway, so let's go through your list, Jian, and talk about it.
Sure. Would you like me just to read off the characters? Or
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
you can do whatever you want, to be fair. So
Sure. Okay. I guess we can go through the characters first, and we'll talk about each character after we go through the whole list. Then we'll go do the same for the tactics cards, and then the crisis in that case. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
So, beginning the list, we have X-23. She is going to be primarily my leader for this, all the outings, basically. We also brought in Honey Badger because we want to take advantage of Big Sis, Little Sis combinations. We also took Deadpool. He is, let's see. Yep, he's a good range attacker. We got Domino, also a solid range attacker. Let's see. We got Maverick, who has been a nice hit and run character. We have Weapon X, who is a blender. All right, and that's the entirety of the Weapon X characters. So basically, I took every 3 and 2 threat in the affiliation. I left home Logan, the Wolverine, and I also left home Sabretooth. So there's no 4 threats that are Weapon X affiliated. Instead, our only 4 threat in this list is Silver Sable, which it's a longer discussion on her. We took Baron Mordo also to have more variety in attack types, but also for his the Sidorak buff where he gives you 2 dice for taking damage. Then we also took 2 more 2 threats. So on top of Honey Badger, we also have Okoye, and we also have Toad, which are 2 threats as well.
Okoye to protect, Toad to play the mission, I'm guessing.
Okoye is more like where I think I need the bodyguard, basically. So, we can have
leader,
her...
right? I think that's what you told me offline. You were kind of running with her, yeah.
Yeah, so because of how fragile the leadership is, I think like having her pair along with either like X-23 to make sure that she stays alive, or we can also have her like try to protect either the Sable, Mordo, or like or even Weapon X, so that he makes sure that he gets his turn. Those are all like important things we can do. We are taking Toad because we were thinking that if we do get priority and there's an opportunity for us to get some sort of extract purity or lead, it'd be good to have him because he gives you sort of a semi-safe wrap, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah, and they desperately kind of need something like that. So
yeah. So he's a big role player there in that case. So talking about Baron Mordo, I think that the matches you need him in is where like you think that the Mystic attacks are going to help. He does potentially give out Hex, which I think is a great condition to sort of like smooth out the spikes in this game. And like I said, the Sidorak's power that he has for, hey, once per turn, you can give somebody 2 extra dice and they just have to take a damage afterwards. It's like, okay, that seems pretty fine.
That's so good with healing factor too.
Yes, exactly. There's synergy, right? So anything that would cost them health to do, like they can sort of pay that, and it's kind of like a free resource that they have. So the health, you want to think of as a free resource, right? At the end of the day, the healing factor.
Yeah, I like that. That's a great splash.
Yeah. So Silver Sable is
really good.
This is my the closest to a spice pick I guess I have to this list, because I know that she's a slightly maligned model because her defenses are relatively fragile for for a 4 threat. But I think what she does is that when we're talking about the movement in this team, the shot caller is so good at setting them up to make sure they rotate to a point, or in the case of like Laura or Logan, they have either their charge or a spender online so they can get more mobility out of their turn so they can attack like more often. The shot caller just fixes like a lot of like mission like issues, especially if you get pushed off the point, or you need to make sure they get to a point, or if they need a power to, let's say, do a pita flip or something. I think that's all really good. On top of that, because the list is so wide, you can have them all pay for the "you want my help, pay up," which is the thing that sort of helps Super Sable's power curve, because normally she has just gainers, right? To just generate power, but because you have a bunch of characters that want to attack and are happy to pay 2 power to give an extra dice and then throw a power to Sable, that means her stuff should be online like more often, I think.
Yeah.
She also brings a range 5 attacker. I mean, you do have range 4 attackers in, Deadpool and Domino, which are pretty solid, but a range 5 character does give you a little more threat, right? That you can sort of push off the people. And sometimes that root and pull any size is
the root is real good.
Yeah. Rooting Bill and any other character that needs to pay for their damage reduction is huge to make sure that they're actually kind of killable. And the sizeless push can sometimes let you win a secure, even if it brings you the threat close to your team. But
it's also good tech into if you're seeing lots of Dormammu, like size 5 shit. So
yeah, exactly.
Which we're currently seeing? Question mark.
Apparently, yeah. But also, and the spender is not bad either. Honestly, if you're outside of range 3 and they don't have cover, she can do a ton of damage to you with that spender. Honestly,
yeah. I think she's the only. Jian and I played a game yesterday, and I think she's the only person who has after kind of like in 40k where it'd be after damage +2, which is really good. So I'm surprised we don't see more of that on different characters, but it's a really cool piece in her spender. So
yeah. So if I can just also, we'll go back to the actual weapon XPOS for just a hot second. So I don't know how much you want to talk about it, but
we can talk about it now, and then as much as you want, and then Nick and I will be probably briefer. So
okay.
Yeah,
sure. So X-23, the thing I want to highlight with her is the fact that she is able to daze a bunch of models potentially in a turn. I think Stephen, we had a practice game. I think you were running Daredevil, right? And she didn't do anything until the very last turn, and then suddenly there's 3 days models, right, between a good attack, a frenzy, and a spender, right? And that all just kind of crescendoed into a half a day's team suddenly, because damage does add up, especially with her.
Bleed. She also hands out bleed and pierce, which are super useful. And getting damage through, and then also making sure the character doesn't survive the round. They're alive on 1 or something. Yes. So,
yeah, and I'm trying to get much better. So what's this affiliation also forced me to do is get really good with X-23 and Honey Badger, making sure that they're always within range of each other to activate the big Sisylosis tether, so that if one of them gets attacked, the other person, as long as they're within 3, can make a move towards that character that she tried to attack, I think. So it gives them a ton of extra movement on the board, especially sets up the ankle biter for Honey Badger, where she gives you that -1 defense dice debuff, and then she's also in taunt range as well to take hits, which is really, really good.
And you can
Honey
Jonathan
Badger is pretty solid
too, which is a good play. Oh yeah, on Honey Badger.
So spoiler alert, we did take Jonathan as one of the cards as well, and that way we have some play into, let's say, Demons Downtown, or Fisk or something, so that there's at least something that can sort of take this subjective and not, at the cost of your guy taking a ton of damage or a debuff in the process. Deadpool, I think, is great because both Deadpool and Domino, I love in the Shang-Chi focus and Thor 2 issue, because they have defense tech within range 3 that you can sort of avoid by outranging them. And Deadpool is also feels like a 4 threat when he gets injured on his other side. He's got surprisingly good mystic tech, and he hits relatively hard, for the threat value that he brings. And he is mobile. He is mobile between, especially on his backside, between the leg day and the spender that lets him move short as well after doing it. He gets around, actually. Domino is more static.
He doesn't skip leg day. That's
closer
why,
to your.
Jen.
No, he doesn't. So Domino normally, I think, in most teams is a pretty static piece outside of the Storm X-Men, but she actually is your best user of the memory tokens, right? Because she caps the amount of dice like you are rolling because you're not able to explode dice against her. That 5 defense, she's 3 across board, then +2 for the memory token. That 5 defense actually, more often than not, actually is probably going to work out pretty okay for you. And you can convert spells also for more like defense tech as well. But that gives her extra movement, which she normally doesn't have. And that lets her set up for the rapid fire, which means that she's able to quadruple tap people like pretty often, I think, in this team.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, I forgot about the small move when they if they take damage. So you want her to take like 1 though, right?
No. So the Weapon X leadership is no damage taken.
Sorry. So that's even better.
Right. So the reason she's the best one is because you can't explode your dice, right? So you start with a pool of 5 and versus her 5. You feel relatively all right that this might work out okay, actually.
Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah, with no crits, that's pretty brutal, actually. She becomes like the tankiest 3 I've ever seen. So,
right, exactly. So I think she actually, despite being the one character that doesn't really have healing factor, like she's still like awesome in this affiliation. So next one we want to talk about. So Maverick and Weapon X, I think, was like the sauce I think this team really needed to make sure that they can really commit to this wide plan. So Maverick, I've been really surprised with, because he's pretty fast. Because, even though he's going to start the game slow, mid game he's going to be great because he's got the hit and run, and whenever you hit him with a physical attack, he gets an extra short move and power as well. Which is pretty good for let's say you grab something midline and all they have is a web warrior that just can impact with them. It's like, okay, if you hit me with something, I'm just going to run away now. And get the power. And he's also got a healing factor as well. He brings energy rapid fire guns, which is not very common in this game, actually. And as you know, there's a lot of characters, like your favorite model Venom, that may not like it if a guy just has energy shots into them all the time. So, and he also has the one spender that actually throws people in this faction besides, I think maybe, there's not many people that can throw characters in this faction. So he's got that. So yeah, it's a really good kit, and randomly you also can turn off people's healing, which is hilarious. So if Dracula tries,
that's
to
good
heal
with
Silver, the end of his turn,
Silver Sable too, right? You can kind of use that both of those abilities against a Bill or something.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he's been very surprising because he's the closest thing to a in-faction safe grab that we have, because as long as you put him up against a physical attacker. Finally, Weapon X. You're starting to see this guy splashed everywhere. I've seen him splash in Guardians list. I've seen him in the aforementioned Dormammu list, as well as as their 3 threat of choice. This is because Weapon X hits way above his weight. I don't know. Have you guys gotten any games with Weapon X at all? We're seeing him on the table.
I have
not seen him at all.
He is a blunder.
I haven't seen him.
So he is definitely a blunder.
I haven't seen him played, and I haven't fought against him.
Okay. So Nick, the thing about him is that normally he just gets 5 dice, right? But you get 2 extra dice on this front side if you're on a secure. And then his normal gain on top of that, if he uses that as the second attack against the character, that's another +1 dice as well. So he could potentially charge in and do a 7-die attack and then an 8-die attack, all gaining power at the same time.
Oh my gosh.
And these are pierce attacks too, as well. So, yeah.
So you just put him on an objective and say, die.
Here you go.
Yeah. So to compensate for that, to make this fair, quote unquote, is the fact that he gets one less defense dice when he's securing a secure objective.
Oh, interesting.
But he's got a healing factor of 3 too. So if you don't one-shot him,
but he also has the healing factor 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you don't kill him, he probably gets back to full health because he's a 5 health model with healing factor 3. It is pretty trolly.
That seems pretty good. Yeah. Maybe I'm gonna have to pick him up for my Guardians list.
Yeah. I will say though, he's a lot less good on his backside because so instead of being a focus fire missile, he becomes a range blender, an AoE blender, because he gets a range 2 5 dice pierce attack as his normal gainer now on the backside. but he doesn't have the bonus for the being on the sector anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What he does do though is also, so he does the AoE too. So potentially you're hitting your own guys as well in the process. And when he dies, he does damage to everybody around him as well potentially.
So when he flips, just book him towards the enemy.
Yeah, just give him a lot of space. Like
Yeah.
you don't want your guys near him, basically, like when he's flipped. So
That could be fun though, especially if you could throw winging it tokens on him.
Yeah, right.
So special call out to
But yeah.
right now for Weapon X though is in Dormammu, in Dark Dimension. I know that's where we saw him, but this was a tech that. So if you don't know my history, I played a lot of Dormammu over the summer, and I'm in love with that faction when it's right to play them. But I think Steven ran over and was like, dude, you gotta put Weapon X in your Dormammu list. Or like Phil Donahue, one of them ran over and was like, dude, because when he dies, you can then bring him back. So we can do this all twice. Which is insane. So...
Yeah. It is pretty insane. So yeah, that's the list of characters and like what I think they bring to the table.
Cool.
As a whole. So moving on to, I guess, the tactics cards. So are you sure you want to remember? It's the leadership. We talked about it. You need it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the thing you take every game. You know. The next ones, for restricted, we took Brace for Impact and Sacrifice. I think that makes a ton of sense because because you have so many bodies in the field, you're probably going to be near at least one other person. So Sacrifice, I think, is relatively easy to put off in this crew. Brace for Impact is good just because like there's just a bunch of collisions that you just need to be able to time correctly to save against. Okay, so let's talk about Dossier and why I think this is actually a pretty fun card, and I think that's part of the fun of this team. I think is the Dossier card itself because it does a little bit of a extra little mini game you have during the game. So Dossier, to remind you guys what it does, is that you play the Dossier either X-23, Apex Predator, or Logan the Wolverine. So the 4th threat versions of those characters, play it. And what you can do is that the opponent has to assign it to one of their characters. Whoever plays it gets to get rerolls against them, and it does a lot to make sure that they die. And if anyone gets to hold the Dossier, that's your Weapon X affiliation, they will get 2 extra dice for all their attacks and a long move as long as they're holding the Dossier, which is pretty nuts. And what that does is that you can put on someone so that either they put on someone that they want to just run away so that they just don't interact with the game as much, or they put on someone big, and that's great because that means you have at least one model of your team that gets a consistent amount of rerolls against them. So I think it's a very interesting card, and gives a sort of mind game aspect to the affiliation. So like I think it's definitely worth trying out if you haven't tried it before. See how it
wouldn't
changes.
Take it against Guardians. Because of Yondu.
Right, yeah. That's probably a bad time. But
it sounds fun though.
Yeah, for everybody else though, I think it actually is pretty interesting. And I want to see like what people do and see how people's behavior changes with those characters, like when they have a Dossier token, and having the threat of like rerolling X-23 or Sabretooth or Wolverine like into them,
Yeah.
So,
but in your list, it would be just X-23, correct?
Just X-23, yeah, and that's perfectly okay.
Yeah,
it's still pretty scary if she's got a bunch of rerolls against you.
I mean, she's already got
no slouch, man. She's good.
Yeah, she's already got the assassin reroll, right? So you're getting another reroll layer on top of it. It seems okay. Okay, so next one is Implanted Memories. That's a recent one that came out. Implanted Memories, I think, is interesting because, like, unlike like a Zemo counterattack where you do it after an attack, it's a reactive tactics card that lets you try to do damage to somebody after an enemy effect hurts the character, basically. So, if they're alive on 1 TM, you potentially can play this and just like finish out their activation before they do everything they want to do. So anytime a character's like low health against a Weapon X team and you have Implanted Memories, like it kind of might give them pause, right? And that would be an interesting usage of the of that card, I think.
Yeah, it's not a bad card. I kind of like that. because you can use it anywhere too. So it's kind of like having that superpower that a lot of characters have, just kind of like on demand for your whole team.
Right, and it's also like I said, it works in any enemy effect. So it like you can work on like a Thor splash thunderbolt. Like not even the main attacker, if he splashes that lightning bolt into somebody, like you could potentially play this to kill him. For instance.
Very true.
Yeah. Let's see. Weapon stash. This is the other card that came out, and it's Maverick. It has to pay 3 power to play it. He puts a token down near a secure objective, and while you're near the token, you're gonna have cover automatically, which is huge. Like, so anyone that's played like Magnetic Refraction or something like under Magneto, like just having like constant cover that's just on, I think is like really powerful to especially keep your guys alive at the end of the day. And you
plus
could
they can
also
interact with it, right? For 2 extra dice.
No, what it is like you can I think you get like either 1 or 2 extra dice by spending the token, but I think people kind of just don't do that unless it's like the last thing that they need, right? At the end.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But most of the time most of the time you just take it with cover, I would say,
Yeah.
Pretty good. I did enjoy Magnetic Refraction back when I played Magneto.
It is the bee's knees.
Yep.
Let's see. Next ones, we took some more unaffiliated cards here. So we took Instant Recovery.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Healing Factor faction. I think just having an additional layer of resilience, I think would be pretty hilarious. Like, I could see someone like putting X-23 on 1 health and then you instant recovery and then get to go with her and she's back to full health already, which is pretty funny.
It also means you have to spend less power because you can like kind of plan on how much you're going to have if they haven't activated yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
And the nice thing about instant recovery is that you play it after you take the damage, so chances are you'll have power after you get hit by something to actually play it.
Yeah, it's almost like in that way it's sort of free. But I mean, none of these guys either have like Wolverine Spender's probably the most, that 4. Everyone else's is like 3-ish, 2, 3 for their spenders, which is like relatively cheap for a faction that wants to be doing damage. So
yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Let's see, the next one I have is Warpath. I think Warpath, like more and more people should be looking at Warpath as just a nice unaffiliated card to take, especially if you're against a team that had a lot of displacement. So let's say you're against Wakanda, they have a Shuri. That could be the difference of you, like, being able to keep yourself on a point or not at the end of the day, which is really important. So, and then we, to continue the spice, we took Sable International. This is mostly because I'm thinking that there could be a turn where, like, Super Sable just has tremendous amount of grunt hate. So if they're taking a Nick Fury in the list or like a Red Skull, like 2, like I think killing grunts with Sable to get you victory points and maybe finishing somebody off, for 2 VPs in total is pretty solid. On her backside too, she can also get extra attacks by using the Protect the Asset ability. So she could also still daze KO people with that ability as well. So you could net several points potentially. So something to think about. And lastly, we talked about Jonathan the Unstoppable. It just makes sense. Sometimes they're just very, very inhospitable secures that you have, and this is a way for you to, get them without having to put your guys out in danger, I think.
Yeah.
So those are the cards that I have going on there. Shall I move on to the Crisis?
Yes.
Okay.
No. We'll leave your Crisis in a mystery. No, just kidding.
We're going to draw them randomly from the hat now, actually.
Yeah. That'd be kind of fun to do, but I mean, like, whatever. That's a different story.
So because we're going with the Y team, we're actually decided to go back to our Web Warriors roots a little bit. So we actually are taking Superpower Scoundrels, Red Sparks over Extremis, and Cosmic Invasion, Black Order Descends. So any of those like points values we can bring, like these 6 characters. It's not a problem in this team, like at all. Actually, some people, if you ran enough twos, you can run 8 characters at 20 threat, actually.
Jeez.
But we are not that list. So we're probably going to go
Brian. Happy birthday, Brian.
Happy birthday, Brian. At most, we're going to go 7 wide on this. I think these are relatively self-explanatory, where we have a lot of points and they're spread out. And we're going to basically overwhelm you with the amount of bodies that's on this team. and you have to sort of like hopefully spread out your forces, basically, as long as we can keep the extracts not all congested in one area, basically.
Yeah. And for newer players, as an added bonus, if you run riots and you're a team that likes to heal, you can interact with the objectives and you get to heal a damage. So it can be super annoying with the healing factor, with the stacked with the instant recovery. It can be very annoying to get a healthy character off the board. So
yeah, so let's say for instance, like one of the things you could do, let's say you're using Maverick. Maverick could start on one Scoundrel, right? And then he can interact with the heal. He can walk, do a hit and run to get to the other another Riot Sparks, heal from that one, and still have his healing factor 1. So in one activation, this guy has rotated the board and also has healed 3 health in the process. Yeah.
Or if you're talking Weapon X, say he's alive on 1, he just interacts with 1, charges, and then heals it all.
What a rascal.
That's one way of putting it. Oh, little Wolfie.
And then extracts, I think I'm probably the least confident on this one, but my current idea is that like it's like I want them to score relatively fast, but like, not like Senators fast, I guess. Okay. So we went with Skrulls just because it's 20 threat, and I think we're okay playing at high threat levels. Alien ship, I think nobody likes alien ship, but I'd rather be a healing factor team if I'm going to take alien ship. And then also paranoia pummels, I think is this is the riskiest one because like it is relatively really fast scoring, but everything's midline, so like you're not going to have 4 safe midline grabs, so someone's going to end up on the midline, which means that your character should be able to interact with that character, and anyone that picks up a paranoia on your team probably is going to heal back that 1 health that they took damage from,
Right. Yeah.
And you'll have enough bodies that someone should get the bonus point for having a friend nearby as well.
Makes sense.
Yep. Cool. So that's it. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk for the last hour on this. I don't know how long I've been going.
I don't either.
Well, you're clearly passionate about this list, which is definitely more than Nick and I. No,
I mean, you guys put just about the same amount of time, right, Steven?
Oh, definitely not. I'm very honest when it comes to this stuff. So, no, we want to give our listeners a really good rundown, of the Weapon X faction in case you're curious about it. And Jian, that was like, on point, A+. So,
thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Now that we've kind of gone over a really thought out list, we'll do mine first, Nick, and then we'll do your fun one because it's hilarious.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, speaking of ways people do homework differently,
hey.
We'll find a stark contrast between Nick and Jian. So mine, okay. So in typical Steven fashion, I'm realizing after looking at my list that it doesn't actually work, and my whole thematic is just off. So I'll tell you why. So my list is pretty much all the same as Jin's. It's Domino, Deadpool, Maverick, X-23, Honey Badger, Weapon X as my kind of core Weapon X characters. So I read, are you sure you want to remember completely incorrectly? So we were supposed to have this episode, I don't know, a month ago. And my original list was like much more in sync. And so my splashes were much more reasonable. Apparently, upon the second view of this leadership, I decided that, I'll just take characters who want to get a memory token without reading the clause that it has to be a Weapon X character. So my splashes are Hood, Kingpin, and Luke Cage for that very reason. They all reduce damage by 1. I was like, oh yeah, the memory token would be great on them. So, turns out it doesn't work. So yeah, and then I'll leave my last. The one thing I did do differently that I'll talk about in a more serious fashion were my crises. But the last splash here is Loki, God of Mischief. So he is now what we like to call Mr. Anti-Maddox. So Loki, if you haven't looked at his card before, we kind of learned this tech over. Steven actually ran up to me and told me about how Cabal Loki spoiled all his plans for S.H.I.E.L.D. with Namor and Zemo. his shield bunker just got shut down completely because he spent like 3 power to charge Namor in. Loki spent 3 power to Trickster. And then Namor just sits there without staggering anyone and is sad and has to move back. So he was like, it just foiled all. He had never seen it before. He's like, it foiled all my plans. So now, if you're listening to this and you're going to one of our tournaments, so you know Maddox is playing it, I am not going to pay you, except for in laughter and fun. But you should splash Loki, God of Mischief, because it is now the bane of. And then invite Steven out to dinner.
If you want to see Steven Maddox turn into a Scooby-Doo villain, then make sure you have Loki.
Yeah, so Loki is in there, like he is in all my lists now, because of the anti-Steven tech. So he was a last-minute addition. So he's there. I actually do think Loki is an incredibly good piece right now, especially for Giant's Blood. But we can talk about that when we talk about Guardians. But anyways, there's Loki. So the more serious thing about Weapon X here is so Jian, we have 2 of the same secures. I have superpowered. I also thought scoring high is really beneficial because like literally my list is 2 4s and the rest are 3s and 1 2. I can't go as wide as you, but I can go a little bit more quality over wide. But I also took Infinity because I do, from playing New Mutants, this actually comes in handy, is that X-23 Honey Badger kind of push on like something that's set up like Infinity. They also like the extra power, but in addition to that, you can Jonathan your back point and push forward Laura and Honey Badger to threaten the other. So I just find that particularly good, like a good kind of, as they're hopping over each other, making double attacks, Honey Badger's protecting Laura, things like that. It's a kind of cool play style. Doesn't work all the time, but Luke Cage is also in this list, so I guess you could help out to hold the back point, or at least be within 3, so he can kind of teleport over and take a hit for Laura. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, so Heroes for Hire is in there in my cards as well. And then everything else is pretty much what I would say kind of standard. I do have Fallback and Indomitable as my... Why do I keep taking Indomitable? What was I thinking? That should be Brace. This literally happened last night. I guess at one point in my list building, I decided Indomitable was better than Brace. This is probably a few months ago. So, no longer relevant. But we have Kingpin as a Thor 2 counter. Hood, because he's just a really solid 3 with some extra mobility from the transform. Plus, he reduces damage by 1 and can't use the the Dossier or the Remember tokens. So that's fun.
Actually, he reduces by 2 in his transform form.
Yeah, he does. He's a really tanky. So the theme is still there. Like I want these tanky models. Some of them, the Weapon X models in particular, have like healing factor versus just some tankier 3 and 4 threats in the game, and then Loki's there to kind of stop the game plan. To be fair, this isn't just anti-Maddox tech. I really think Loki's a great piece to stop Shang-Chi. Anyone that kind of like wants to charge in and do damage, you can really kind of mess up their game plan. Especially if they charge with a range 2 attack, which I think most of them do. So,
and just the reason we were talking about how Domino is very good. Flip Loki, I think, right? Puts that domino effect for the remembrance tokens, so they kind of get extra mileage, I think. So
he roots and hexes at range 4. So when he's flipped, so pretty solid in general. Where are you going with that too, Jian?
No, I'm just saying it's a good call out.
Yeah, he's a good piece right now. I think in the meta, he damages attrition teams. And then makes them, like Thor's throw costs an extra power, which can slow Thor down a little bit. Especially if you have Maverick or who was it? Deadpool zapping power from him. Ooh, that's a great way to like kind of slow him down. Merc with a mouth in combo with kind of Loki's shenanigans can really help power kill some of these attrition pieces. The bigger ones, at least. Yeah. And then, whatever. I took wider extracts. I probably dropped Senators for this list because they don't really have any other ways to move. Deadpool does, but most of them are just like an honest medium move. So maybe not the greatest with senators here, but Spider Infected because cubes because of the damage. Spider Infected actually probably would go to, but I was kind of like running these three in my defenders list, so I thought they had a similar game plan at the time.
Yeah, seems pretty. So you're going for a much more faster scoring team in that case. So that's interesting.
And I really like them on cubes because of healing factor. So you can take just enough of the cubes where you're not dying, but you're just kind of like, again, that same theme with Weapon X, right? That you take damage, and damage is another resource, right? So that mission seems pretty solid for them. And it's fast, so you can kind of outscore some of the larger attrition pieces who have less models. They might need a steal in there to make that game plan work, to be fair, but
no, just stays the model. It's fine.
Yeah, days. That's true. You do have the attrition to do that, so that's true. As long as it's nothing too tanky. But
probably when you have a Hulk, that's probably the big question, right? That you have to find an answer for.
Yeah, Hulk. I think you could probably kill Hulk with like 3 of your models.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but cool. That's kind of the list that I had, and then Nick.
All right,
you want to explain your thought process here?
So I did write a list, but it was for X-Force, because for some reason I kept thinking we're doing X-Force. So I threw a list together really quick, but then I thought I would search the bowels of the internet for the greatest, most competitive list Weapon X could ever have.
What you're about to hear might change your life.
ChatGPT provided us with the answer, and we're going to go through it, and then you guys can rate it.
I have a quick question. Anecdotally, since you're in school, do you write papers with ChatGPT, or are you one of those?
No. I did have to use this for a class, though. Funny story. I took what was that class? It was like adaptive technology course. So we had to do a bunch of programs using ChatGPT and like feeding it a bunch of information to get stuff, which was kind of interesting. But cool. Anyways, this is the highest level of competitive play Weapon X can be, according to ChatGPT.
You have to give us all your thoughts, all the thoughts it had around it.
So, your core Weapon X affiliated roster is Logan the Wolverine, who is going to be your leader. Then you're going to bring X-23, Honey Badger, Sabretooth Apex Predator, and Domino. And then we have 5 splashes.
Wait, what did ChatGPT say to you exactly?
All right,
because it was hilarious.
This was its exact thing. It says, building an ultra-competitive Weapon X list for Marvel Crisis Protocol, MCP, focuses on leveraging their thematic advantages, mobility, durability, and synergy with damage output. Weapon X shines Weapon X shines with characters that blend offensive, resilience, and self-sufficiency. Here's a detailed Weapon X roster, tailored for high-level competitive play.
So Thor's
naturally. No, Thor's not in this one. Thor was in mine. But all right, so I gave you their core picks. Now we're going to go to their flex picks. We're dropping in Cable.
Call them flex picks too?
Yes, it is. So we're going to drop in Cable. We're going to drop in Zemo, Bullseye, Ghost Spider, and here's the big one, Malekith the Accursed.
What is this list?
And it also gives blurbs about each one and why you should take them.
Just read the Malekith one. I'm really interested in that.
So for Malekith, it says, a high-threat powerhouse for skewed rosters can dominate high-threat games with raw damage and durability. That is why you take Malekith.
Are we talking about the same model here?
I don't know.
For high cat output, please take Malekith.
I mean, it is 20% more cat. That's for sure.
Not if you have black cat, I guess. Then it's only like 10.
For some reason, it only gave me 8 Tactus cards, though, so it's apparently it doesn't need the full 10.
It's just so confident in its ultra competitive list.
And one of them is no longer valid. So,
do you like ChatGPT be like, trust me, bro?
He's like, dude, don't worry, I got you.
So we're taking exceptional healing.
What if that's not even legal?
Dossier. Children of the Atom.
What the fuck is that one?
X-Men only card?
Yeah. Brace for impact. We're taking Face Me, and the reason we're taking Face Me is because it combos well with Sabretooth's durability and aggression, forcing
That's
key
not
enemy
legal
pieces
anymore.
into disadvantaged positions.
I used to take that in Dormammu.
We're also taking Fallback.
Oh, geez. Is that 3 restricted already?
Oh, you just wait. We're also taking Mission Objective. and my favorite one, Deception.
Doesn't even have Mystique in the list.
That's a deception.
And then for Crisises, our extracts will be Struggle for the Cube, which enhances Weapon X healing factor and rewards their mobility.
That's not wrong, actually.
No, that one's actually right. We're going to take Montesi Formula because it adds ranged firepower and rewards aggressive brawlers. We're going to take Paranora Pummel's Populace because it encourages clumped fights favoring Weapon X's durability. And then for Secures, we're taking Demons Downtown because it favors Weapon X's healing and aggression in tight combat zones. We're taking Gamma Wave for the same exact reason. And then the final one we're taking is Infinity Formula goes...
Put them on E-maps?
Yes.
Oh. That doesn't feel right.
Would you like to know the game plan?
Wait. What was the write-up for Infinity Formula? Because that was the last one, right?
Rewards Weapon X's durability on map presence.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
Listen, I feel like that's like a horoscope. You can just put anyone, any affiliation in, for instance.
Anyways, on your low threats, 15 to 17, you're going to play a lean roster with Logan, X-23, Honey Badger, and Domino. You're going to focus on the objectives while leveraging aggressive skirmishes.
Okay. That's like every game of MCP.
For your mid threats, 18 to 19 points, you will add Sabretooth and flex characters like Cable or Baron Zemo for added durability and offense. Dominate the mid board with healing and rerolls. Then finally, for your high threat, 20 plus.
20 plus.
You're going to slam down Malekith or another powerhouse to skew the matchup.
It says slam.
No, it says bring, but I wish it did.
Yeah.
And you can pair it with core Weapon X characters to maintain synergy.
Oh man, at least it knows what a splash is, right? Powerhouse splash.
This roster prioritizes flexibility, maximizing Weapon X aggressive playstyle while balancing it with objective control.
So you have to bring that to main and submit it and see if Steven notices how illegal it is.
I should. And you're going to tailor your picks to counter your opponent's strategy in the crisis cards in play.
Yep, also true of every game, but, who are we to judge?
It also gave you a section called Alternative Crises for Meta Considerations. So you could swap in Fear Grips, Spider Infected, Terrigen Cloud Sweep over the city, and Sword Base.
Oh, man. They'd be so bad on Sword, I feel like. That's not a great mission for them. Although, with the bodies, I guess it's fine, but not in that list.
Thank you, ChatGPT, for this extremely competitive and logical list.
Yeah, you heard it here first, boys. Malekith and Weapon X. It's the new meta.
Yep.
I did throw a list together, though, but it was like within 5 minutes in... It's only because I had thought we were doing X-Force.
That looks like to be fair, without reading much, besides your characters, this is exactly how anyone would throw a list together today. Yeah. Oh yeah, the affiliation characters, and then we have Zemo and Thor.
Thor, exactly. But Then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna ask ChatGPT because I think that would be fun and kind of funny. All right.
Wait,
so
did
what do
they
you guys...
release the Inhumans in the box today or something?
I don't think so.
I just have a Maximus the Mad's going to be in there.
Oh, they might have released the actual character names. But anyways, now you got to rate the list. What is it?
Well, it's not
0
legal.
out of 10.
It's not legal. You can't use most of its tactics for that reason. So maybe a 4.
I will rate it a D for deception.
That's a better rating. I like that one more.
Anyways, that was kind of fun. I might do that again next time, but
That was fun. Please do it again.
Yeah. So look forward to a fun segment called Rate Chat GPT Lists.
That could be its own little short, which would be kind of fun,
make
actually.
a little short about this. It was pretty comical, to say the least.
Oh, so if they haven't released okay, sorry, I'm getting lost in Jarvis Protocol for a second. Anyways, so I hope you enjoyed that. That is Weapon X. Do we have any closing thoughts for them? Besides the fact that they're fun, they seem really fun. Jian, you seem pretty invested in like making them work a little. So,
I just like to think that at the end of the day, no affiliation is really that terrible because the gaps between characters isn't as wide as some people may want to believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
especially since you can wheel and deal and splash characters in this game so easily that besides Thor 2 and Zemo 1, obviously there's other splashes that you can try to make them highlight the characters and like what things they can do.
Yeah.
So,
for example, like a good one here, just like a plug and play here. If you're playing Apocalypse, oh, you can't do that. Fuck. Okay, well, again, don't listen to me. I don't think I actually know what's going on ever. So,
well, I mean, you're just essentially Chat GPT.
Yeah.
I also
Crystal
think
in Apocalypse.
No. Stephen Bork, you are here to torment Stephen Maddox. That is your
That's true.
Here,
it's my only goal. Loki.
That's why Loki's in every list.
Yep.
Done and done.
That's why we're telling everybody that plays him to bring Loki.
Yeah.
And then invite him out for dinner.
If you come to Maine, the first thing you have to do is not submit your list or tell him or bring your affiliation in the Longshanks. That's step 1. Step 2, cut a hole in the box.
Oh no! All right,
we go off
the rails.
Sorry, I got a lot of Christmas songs on the mind.
I do have a question though.
Oh, go ahead.
Are you gonna keep messing around with them, Jian, or do you think this was kind of a one and done for the episode type thing?
I did have a good time with this, so that I think if I'm looking for a game where I can give people different kinds of like archetypes to play, like I can throw this out as a thing that people can play. It's like, hey, do you want to play against a scenario team? Do you want to play against a attrition team? And I can bring an attrition team that isn't like, oh, I have to run the 6 threat model that's going to smash your face in, and it's not going to be a great play experience for some people. I think people will have a lot more fun playing in this list, and I think that's what this list I think is very interesting to have, in your back pocket.
Yeah.
It seems like a fun one to play into for sure.
I think a really great matchup too is like less meta factions, or maybe less factions that are like more fun. Like New Mutants into them is an interesting matchup, right?
Yeah.
So that's a cool one. If you run them into even just an X-Men team, see how that goes. That could be a lot of fun too. A less toned up Apocalypse list could be a lot of fun to play into as well. So
I think Apocalypse might give him a rough time personally.
Yeah, the conditions. Yeah. If you kill Pestilence early though, then you're okay.
That's true. Yeah, but I'm also looking for just reasons to put in Silver Sable because I think the model's really cool, and I just need to find a good home for her.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen her in Web's list before, so #Matt Alex.
Isn't she also affiliated though with Webs?
Yeah, she is affiliated. Actually, all web. Side note: all Webbed up turn with her with their spender. Gross, absolutely disgusting.
That sounds nasty. I like it. So, yeah, but we have. Closing thoughts. My bad.
Yeah, no. End of the day, I think this faction is a lot of fun. People should try it out. It's a different flavor of attrition, and I think you'll find something very interesting and unique about it. And it'll teach you a lot about like target saturation and like trying to overwhelm people with like the amount of choices they have to make, right?
Right.
So yeah, give it a shot, guys. It's pretty cool. Also, I have knives in my arms. Everyone has knives in their arms.
Yeah, that's a selling feature of this. Plus, like Wolverine is one of the most iconic characters, and this Weapon X is really like his home. Realistically, like he was an X-Men, but like this is like his backstory, where you're like, oh, him and Sabretooth are brothers in some runs, and brothers not brothers in others, but. Laura, that they're all kind of like that's where they come from. So it's cool. I do wish actually they would have Lady Deathstrike in here too. A couple more models would really fill this out.
She was in some of the art, so maybe down the line.
Maybe.
Yeah, it'd be really cool. If they gave her an L move, it'd be even maybe they'd actually be competitively viable too. So,
yep.
Cool. Yeah. So that is Weapon X. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so follow us at Alive on One. Sorry, I have to say this now because I keep looking over. So I don't know when this happened, but it happened between sometimes I last checked Jarvis and now. Maximus, the Mad, Gorgon, Karnak, and King Black Bolt are going to be the 4 Inhumans in the box. So I don't know if that's recent news or not, but this is the first time I'm seeing it. So I just keep looking over at the models.
I don't think it is that recent.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, they previewed all 4 models, so you knew who they were.
Oh, so I'm just really behind the times here, eh?
Yeah, you're excited. I don't know.
It's okay. We won't tell the audience that. They won't know.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, follow us on our Instagram at AliveOn1. Our Discord link is below. It's growing. The next person who joins will be our 100th member. And this only comes out in 2 days, so I'm guessing that could be you.
Do they get a cookie or something?
They get absolutely nothing, except for I'm sure I'll say, you're our 100th member in the Discord, which is kind of cool. You can screenshot that, I guess. Show it to me when I meet you in person. It's a cool bonding moment. Our email is ataliveon1@gmail.com. You can email us there. No one ever does, but, we have it just in case. Please leave a review down below on Apple and Spotify. That actually probably out of most things will go the longest way to helping our exposure. And we do have a Patreon, which you can join. We have our new member, which we did want to shout out, our first one. So thank you, David Blenner, for your contribution. Yeah,
thank you very
much. You are our
much.
first member, and we remember you always. And with that, thank you so much for listening to us tonight. Thank you, Jian and Nick, for coming on with me. And
if I may, I also would just like to plug that RSMP Tabletop will be having some more videos in the upcoming year, which is this year, that is, the one that we're currently in. So please stay tuned as we have more information on that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And we will be talking a little bit about that, too, at Everwinter, because we all ran into Josh.
Yep.
So.
Yep. He took plenty of photos and plenty of video, so hopefully we'll be able to see some of that stuff.
Oh yeah, he's got some of the photos up already. I've seen them. So
yeah, we actually look pretty okay in those.
Yeah, especially us Alive on One guys in our orange jumps.
We wore these cool orange jumpsuits as a way to sign off. I guess we wore these cool orange jumpsuits to Everwinter, and I think the 3 of us just completely forgot to take a picture together.
We did.
Of our own. So
it's kind of sad.
Yeah. We don't have evidence we were wearing them except for some of these shots of, I don't know if they're us together. They're probably us individually, but
next year we're going to wear a different color.
Well, so to be fair, at the team tournament, Nick, Steven and I did invite John Green to be on our team, and he did, I think, buy an orange one.
Well,
so next year will be a different color.
Yeah, Everwinter it will be a different color.
Bright yellow is our plan
Big
right
Bird.
now. So.
Team Big Bird.
Yeah, Big Steve. That's what we'll call him. All right, and on that note, so we said all the following stuff. Please join our Discord. It is a growing community. Lots of cool interaction going on there. People are picking up games quite frequently on TTS too. So, I mean, not as frequently as the TTS server, but for kind of, you're playing with people who also kind of are part of our community. You might see them talk a lot. You might know them. You might have heard of them through some of our podcasts as well. I go on there a lot looking for games, so join. But anyways, as always, thank you for joining us, and Godspeed. Today will be Logan. All right, thanks.